friends, MD Vegan. It's Gentle Juicefasting Day again. It always comes up every week, almost the average, but on average once a week I do my fasting day. And that is a nice time because I don't need to eat, I just drink liquids. That means I reduce calories. That is, I think, that is the official medical definition of fasting, that reducing the calories over a certain time. It begins with a day or so. But then you have intermittent fasting. That's very complicated then in details. But basically the idea is reducing the calories of what I eat over a certain time, so that the body begins to process in a different way, gets the energy in a different way. What happens is that by fasting, the body no longer burns sugar. That's what most of the cells of the body always do. They burn sugar to get energy. Sugar in fruit. Also protein is broken down into sugars basically that are then burned to energy. That's what the body does. And on a fasting day, that is different. The body begins also to burn ketones. The ketones that are smaller molecules that, like a fat, that are burned. And I don't know exactly what it is. A ketone is a certain chemical structure that is more efficient to burn. And the body begins to burn these ketones when it doesn't have enough energy. When too little energy, too little calories come in, then it begins to switch and goes into into the other mode of burning ketones, and that is very effective, a very more effective way of getting energy. And that means also it begins to cleanse itself, because these are things that cleanse the body out. And when you sleep, when we sleep, also the body begins to detox. The brain gets rid of the toxins that are built over the day. That is a natural process. As long as you do not sleep, the body begins to build these toxins that have to be at night washed out again. That's what the brain does every night. And on a fasting day, these cleansing processes, they are elongated for a longer time. So it's like a longer time out. And that's very nice. If you get used to that, you can do that in a way that is very pleasant and delightful. One way to do it is have these wonderful juices I always make on a fasting day. Today I make a new juice with beet and kale. So a green juice and a red juice together. All the colors in our fruit and vegetables. And so these colors are very powerful nutrients, and they are characteristic for our food. Doctors say eat the rainbow. That means eat all the colors. All these colors have different functions, jobs to do for us. Very important. And the greens are one color group, stands for a certain kind of nutrients, and the red ones are different. They all have different important things that we need in our body. So I don't go into this now. That's very complicated. That's chemical science, like the ketones. They're very complicated things to explain. If you want to know that, you can read about it. To me, as a chef, basically I'm not a scientist as a chef. I know a little bit of background and I read here and there, and I want to know what's right and wrong, what to do. But basically I'm interested in what tastes good. I want to know what tastes good and it's healthy at the same time. The best is when something tastes good to me, it's also healthy to me. That's what I would like to have always. Sometimes I like something that's not so healthy. Happens, of course. And fasting is one way also to tune the body into a more sensitive tool, so that I always feel that it tastes good, what my body right now needs. That's also very smart, I think, because the science is very limited. Science is limited, and I think my body and my mind, they need a little bit of tuning with the knowledge I have, for example, I shouldn't eat animal products. Yeah, only eat plants. That's what's healthy. Science said that. And if you don't know that, if you don't feel that, you should feel it because animals are living beings like we are also animals, and we shouldn't eat ourselves. That should be a natural feeling. But you don't feel that, science can tell you it's not good for you to do that because you destroy your body if you eat other animals. Yeah? Shouldn't do that. That's not good for us. Science knows that. So once I have the basics down, whole food, plant-based diet, basically, and that's the variety of food is the healthiest food, the healthiest way to eat it. Lots of different foods, plants, yeah, that's most important. Once I have that down, and the science proves that, science says yes, that's true, then I can begin. Okay, what tastes well to me? What do I like in this range? You know, for example, a juice, you know, basically is not so healthy because it is not whole food. But on a fasting day, the body functions differently and goes more to rest mode. Internally, digestion rests, and I begin to detoxify. And in that mode, the juice can be very good to me. It gives me some nutrients, the nutrients I need, but of course, there is no healthy digestion taking place. So on a regular day, that is the most important thing, that you have a healthy digestion. 70% of the immune system is in the digestion, in the intestines. So if that doesn't take place, the rules change. I don't need to have whole food on a fasting day. So that is a story of a different kind, and sometimes the greatest doctors say don't fast because it's more efficient to have good healthy food. Well, yes, that's their limited scientific approach, but there's a lot of also that supports in science that fasting does a good thing. But it is not conform with the whole food plant-based diet approach. Yeah? Fasting is an exception, I would say. So there, it is maybe complicated to understand the science behind it fully, to fully understand that. But I put that aside. I know fasting is a thing that we do in all cultures over the planet, over the history. That's a normal state. Not eating every day has always been our default. That we now eat every day. That is very short time. That we are able to do that only since recently, because most of the time we didn't have that much food. Yeah? We had to look for our food every day, and that is a luxury state of modern time that we can eat every day without a problem, at least in the rich societies. In the poor societies, that's different. There are many people that are hungry every day, so we know about these problems, you know. But so fasting is a very normal thing. We always did that, and it's not harmful if you do it carefully. So one day a week only one day, can almost never be harmful if you are healthy. If you have a health issue, of course, then different story. You have to go to a doctor or medical professional and have oversight. Yeah. But for me, as a healthy person, overall healthy person, I can fast a day and no problem. If I would fast for more than one day, 2 or 3 days, I want to think about, well, could that be harmful in some way? Because there are in the inner organs, for example, some things can happen that might be a little bit harmful. I don't even notice. Yeah? For these things, you should always have a little surveillance, yeah? Or a very good self-awareness about monitoring your own processes. I do, for example, yoga every day. I watch my body and my mind, how they evolve. These regular routines, like fasting, or doing practice every day, workout every day, then you also have a very fine monitoring of how the body and the mind works, you know, because you always do the same things in the same rhythm, and then something changes and you notice. That's a good way to understand how everything works, and if something does not work, then you notice, oh, there's something going wrong, I have to monitor that. I see that all the time. Something doesn't work in my body and I have to watch it. So I change a little bit the routine and then it works again. So that way you can have a pretty good oversight over time. It takes time. It takes a long time to get all the oversight you need. You will always learn every day. Yeah? That's a good thing in aging. Aging can be good if you learn more and more in a systematic way about single topics. So collecting knowledge on a certain topic, like for example, fasting. I know a lot about fasting now. I know a lot about whole food now. I know which food is healthy, how to combine our flavors, how to make new juices. I know a lot because I'm doing that all the time, so I know a lot about it. I can tell a lot about juicing, for example. So, talked a little bit about fasting now and about being healthy and healthy diet. So now I go to my juice recipe and tell you how I make this juice recipe. So, what did I learn all the time, all these years making these juices? What I learned was basically, I would say, how to create a new juice recipe. How to get to know the ingredients and how they play together. What I do today is a pretty complex recipe. I have 9 ingredients, 9 different ingredients. They are all pretty different, and they play together in so many ways, it's hard to understand. If somebody gave me that juice recipe with the kale and the beet, apples, oranges, pears, celery, parsley, lemon and ginger, somebody gave me that recipe and I knew nothing about juicing, I would say, wow, how did you make that? I have no idea. I would have never come to the idea to make that juice. I have seen these recipes many years ago and I was in the same situation. I have no idea how that recipe was made. I would have never found it. But it tastes so delicious. I think it will, because I know something about the ingredients, so I know it will taste delicious, most likely. Still, I never made this juice before. And still I know it will taste delicious. I just don't know exactly how delicious it will play, how it exactly will play out. And there's some things I will tell you about in a moment. I don't know yet, but most likely it will be delicious. Already my mouth is beginning to water already as I'm talking about it. So what I learned is to make, for example, a beet juice. How do you make a beet juice that's delicious? It's not so difficult, not so easy, because the beet by itself doesn't taste good. Drinking a beet juice scratches in the throat, and that doesn't taste good. And it takes 4 hours to go away, that scratching. It's not harmful at all, it doesn't matter. But it is not nice, you don't want to have that. So to avoid that, what you can do is put a beet and a pear together. That's a beet pear juice, it's delicious. A little lemon maybe, and you have a wonderful juice here. That's my beet. It's a large beet here, or a medium large. Cut it into pieces for the juicer. It's such a beetroot. And here is the pear. So that's one of the base of these juices. I know the beet pear juice is delicious. These are more pears now than I would put in the simple beet pear juice. Just a little pear and a large beet and then a little lemon, then you have a wonderful juice. You don't have the scratching anymore. Somehow, magically, the pear takes away the scratching in the throat and makes a delicious beet juice. So that you have to know. You need that knowledge to make the beet juice. I know that now. This is a delicious juice. So the next is the kale. Also, kale is not so easy to juice. I have a lot of kale here, or 5 or 6 leaves from a kale plant. Got that in the health food shop, so I washed it, chopped it up to make it fitting for the juicer, to get it into the juicer. You chop it up and clean it. So it's not easy to make a beet juice, a green kale juice either, because the kale can taste bitter. Especially when you harvest it early. Harvest later, after the first frost, it begins to be sweet. But still, greens in general, they can be bitter. That's a general quality of the green flavor. They can be sour or bitter a little bit, and not easy to juice. You only juice the beet or the kale, so you need a good juicer for that first. Not every juicer can do with kale, so you need a special juicer, a slow juicer, a masticating juicer that you need for the greens. That is the second obstacle for juicing. You need a different juicer for the greens. So, but flavor-wise, you have to balance the bitter flavor from the greens with some fruit. And a way to do that is, for example, an apple. I have an apple and a pear. Because the apple on its own, with the kale, would not be sweet enough maybe. maybe. So the pear takes care of that. I found when I get the kale, and I want to make a juice, I make sure I get a pear also, because I know you can make a kale juice with only apples, but maybe you put a ginger in there or lemon or so. But to be sure, the pear really does the job. It makes it sweeter, and this sweetness really makes that kale juice delicious. So I have an apple and a pear for the kale to make it delicious, and now I have almost everything I need to make a nice beet kale juice. They're very powerful ingredients, kale and beet, very powerful. So, but I just give you an idea what it takes to understand how to make these juices delicious. So I have a kale juice, I have a beet juice. Let's try to put them together to a kale beet juice. Yeah, and that is a little bit risky. You never know. Does kale and beet juice together do they play good together? Does that taste well? Does it taste good? I have to try. And I tried that before and it was amazing. It was an amazing result. Such a powerful juice, yeah. You have a beet juice. Beet juice is powerful, gives you endurance. Kale juice gives you freshness. Yeah, really get really excited about the kale in the morning, for example. A lot of energy. But together, it is so much difference that you have both worlds. Yeah? And it's really amazing. You have to try that. It's hard to explain in words, but the kale beet juice is really delicious. If you put everything in together with that makes it delicious. Like for example, today a pear and an apple. Yeah, that is for these juices important to make it delicious. And I also put an orange in there today. Yeah, the orange here comes for another reason. So orange is nice also with beet. That's a classical juice, beet orange juice. And orange is also good with kale. Kale and orange is nice because the orange has both sweet and bitter. And that's good for kale. So, but I didn't take that for that reason today. The orange I take especially because the apple and the pear and the orange together is a fantastic juice by itself. So that apple, pear and orange juice, you got to try that. It's a very common ingredient, you can get it everywhere, but you can nowhere, I never found a juice, ready juiced, that has only oranges, apples and pears. So these very common fruit in our Western cultures, they are never juiced together. So I never tasted it before. And when I tried it, I was really struck. I said, wow, it's such a nice creaminess. And the sweet-sour balance of these together is so delicious. When I tried it, I began to put it into my other juice recipes as a base. Orange, beet, and pear and apple. So that's why it is in this juice, because it's a very complex juice. It has a green, kale, a powerful green, and a powerful red juice, beet juice. These together with this powerful orange, apple, pear trinity. So that's the base of my juice here. I did that before and it was great. What I add to this are two things mainly to make it a nude flavor to me, and that is parsley, another very powerful green, but that's an herb. It's not a green vegetable in that way. The herbs and the spices are the second healthiest food we have. And parsley is one of the most powerful cleansers we have. Very powerful. If you drink parsley juice every day, it gets so strong a cleansing that it is too much and yet painful. So it's really powerful. It's a whole bunch and it tastes sour and green. This typical green sour flavor is very much in parsley. And most people know how parsley tastes. They know what I'm talking about when I call it sour green. And that is a nice addition to my kale and beet juice that I want to try together with celery. Yeah, that's what I want to do. And celery has a different quality. It's also super healthy green, but it is very, it tastes very, very strong. It has can be very unpleasant. Celery, I would say, is rather a seasoning than a vegetable on its own. Celery stalks. Yeah, if you juice it, it gives a smoky flavor to the other flavors. Make the recipe give a smoky tone. Very exciting. You have the little, smoky paprika, for example, paprika, and the smoky, that is, it's a very nice flavor that gives a little bit of earth flavor, yeah, a little bit rusty, yeah, and can be very nice. I like that a lot. And once I began to put celery in my juices, I worked over all my juice recipes and add that flavor and really give it a nice touch. That's what I'm going to try now with my kale and beet juice. Give it this celery tone together with the parsley. These are very strong, powerful green sour flavor. So let's see. Let's go. There's one more thing that I add to many juices. It's a very general, like a seasoning. Yeah, not like a, yeah, maybe like an enhancement, not like a seasoning. There's a lemon, a whole lemon, and a good piece of ginger. These are enhancing, this couple, enhancing all the other flavors. It makes the other flavors stronger. They don't add a new flavor like parsley or celery. They add new flavors. Lemon and ginger rather enhance the other flavors. And I put them in many recipes. And I try to put some of the peel, of the lemon into this juice today. I will try while juicing and find out if that works. It can be very nice. It can also be too much. The most powerful part of the lemon is the yellow color of the peel. It's the most healthy and the most powerful thing. But it can be too much. It can be very intense and ruin the whole juice. So I have to be careful, especially with greens. Yeah. Greens have a little bitter tone, and you add the lemon peel to the green flavor, it can be too much of the bitterness. So I have to check it out. I'll tell you in a moment when I come back. I have that juice made then, and I will taste it in front of you, and then we can see what it tastes like. That's a big juice here, a large juice, and it's almost 2 liters. Well, not completely, but because one of these containers is 1 liter, so almost 2. That's a lot, and that's like a whole meal, a large meal on a fasting day. I don't eat on a fasting day, but I drink. If it gets a little bit too much, I can eat a little bit. Of course, I can slow down the fasting, the detoxification process. Yeah? That I guess is the most unpleasant thing. The detox can cause a little trouble, but that's why I drink the juices too, because it makes it so delightful. Having these energy, pure energy, the juices, that gives me a lot of boost, and I have to drink it slowly because there's a lot of sugar in there. That's what makes the juices delicious. The fruit have sugar, and in the greens, for example, basically a green juice it was, now it's red with the beet. But the greens, the green juices get delicious with fruit. Yeah, you have to add a lot of fruit to the greens. Same with cucumbers. Without a cucumber, without a fruit, the cucumber juice is not really delicious. I wouldn't like it. So fruit, sweet and sour fruit, make the green juice, the vegetable juices, delicious. Same with the beet. Without a pear, for example, an orange, the beet juice doesn't taste well. So the fruit that makes it delicious, that's the sugar in the fruit that makes these juices delicious. And because there's a high sugar content and low fiber, nothing that makes the digestion work, do its good and healthy work, the juices, the nutrients go direct into the bloodstream. The sugar goes directly in, and if you drink too fast, whoosh, that can cause also trouble. So baseline is, on a fasting day, my meals are, one part of the meals are juices, fresh juices that I make myself mostly, and I drink it slowly, sip by sip, over a longer time. That's why I can say I have a meal on a fasting day. But let's see how that juice, what that tastes like. So I put the most of the lemon peel in, so the large lemon. Here, what remains is this. And I thought, it's a very strong juice. I tasted in between, it was very powerful, that I already noticed. And you look at the juice, It's a dark red, very strong, looks strong already, and the texture also, it's a thick juice. It's not very thick, not like a smoothie, yeah? But if you put things in there like pear, for example, it can get creamier, the juice. And you already see this, yeah? When you look at this juice, you stir a little bit, it's a very powerful thing, that I know. Oh. But now let me taste it. Wow. Wow. I tasted it while I was making it. There was the little green was overwhelming. Then again there was a little from the celery overwhelming, so something not so pleasant was there. I thought it would be a delicious juice. What happens? But now everything is juiced together. 3 apples, 3 oranges, 3 beets, three pears, 1 large beet, 5-6 leaves of the kale, a bunch of parsley, so 1 lemon, nice. When all these things come together, it tastes wonderful. It has to be balanced. The balance of all the ingredients, that's what makes it. And usually the general rule is it's the same amount of vegetables and fruit that I would recommend. There are some people who like it a little bit more harsher, the flavor, or stronger flavor. They would use less fruit and more vegetables, because the vegetables usually taste stronger. The fruit make it more pleasant, gentle, That's up to you, what you do. I would say in general, that's the same amount of fruit and vegetables. Just, to speak with a grain of salt or so, coarsely speaking. But I have that rule usually. And my juices are pretty sweet, and they have a balance between sweet, sour, bitter, all the flavors that are there. Salty even. The celery, funny, is the salty flavor in here. That's so funny. The smoky tone that you get with the celery stalks, that is a little bit salty. It adds the salty flavor to these juices. Like celery, by the way, I'm so excited about celery. Celery is something that we know from traditional cooking. My parents, the mom and the grandma, they always put celery in a soup when they make a broth. It's always with celery, usually the root. But the celery has the same function. It gives the soup a salty, smoky, rounded flavor, earth flavor. And the celery also here is used as a seasoning, makes it a little bit rounder, a little bit more earth-like, a little bit more salty when you want. I want to call it salty, and smoky, I would say, the best expression for celery. But if it's too much, it's really not nice. So it has to be measured, a very small amount. 3 stalks only, 2 to 3 stalks for this kind of juice, not more, otherwise it will be overwhelming and disrupt the balance. So this strikes a nice balance here. I tasted it, and it's hard to describe, it's really all the flavors together as one new flavor, nothing really predominant, and that gives it a new flavor. It's very complex, it's very powerful, and it's wonderful. Here, have a look. The main part is the kale, but once you put a beet in there, it turns always red. But you have a special red here, you can see that. It's a red that turns even darker, and that comes from the greens. Yes, painting. If you want to make the deepest black, you can imagine, you can't even imagine that black you get if you put green and red together, over each other. You don't see each red or green, you only see a deep black. You can't just take a black paint and make a black color. That is gray almost always. But when you have a really deep black, you want to have the red and the green together, and then you get the deepest black. But that's similar here. I learned a little bit from the flavors, from the painting. I like painting a lot. It already translates into the cooking also, because cooking also begins very much with the colors. I was surprised when that thought came to my mind first, when I saw eat the rainbow, okay, we understand, but actually began using colors as the starting point for making a recipe. Just for example, take only orange ingredients, the carrots and the oranges, and what else has orange? Yeah, or maybe yellow also goes, yeah, something like that. It works. Try. Yeah, just beginning with the colors can be very nice to start a recipe. So, and this is a very nice dark red strong color, and the flavor really expresses here in that color. Yeah, that's what that's it for it today. That was it for today, I would say. I'm very happy. I continue my fasting day. It's an exciting time, always very intense, and always go deep inside. And then a fast or maybe a video, I come outside and reveal what I find inside on this inner journey that is so strong on a fasting day. But I hope I can make you enjoy this video a little bit. If you like, subscribe, MD Vegan on YouTube. Have another recipe every single day. And find me on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. And you can share your comments there. You can ask questions about everything you like on my videos, and maybe what you don't like. It's also okay. Yeah. And then if you want to know more about fasting, you can also go to Tree Yoga Moon Fasting. That is a Facebook page that some people and I made a long time ago. Now it's still there, and I always post my juice recipes there. There's a moon fasting calendar for the best fasting days. If you have extra time or so, I can bring it into your schedule. But there's more information there. You can see it there. So that's Facebook, Tree Yoga Moon Fasting. That is the name of the page. At the page, you can find it and join us there. I hope to see you soon.